Welcome back. Been a little busy. Got some stuff missing on the baler, obviously. Bulk of it sitting right here. So currently where we are right now, you guys just saw me put the bearing on the end of the main shaft. Basically that shaft is as done as I can get it until I'm ready to go back together. Okay. Got that adjustable back plate off. 3 bolts on each side, the slide plates. I wanted to show, this is the material that was back in behind there. And this is why I wanted to take that out. Okay, you probably hear it. I got rained on a little bit. Tractor's a little wet. Which, I mean, I'm not saying tractor can't get wet, but when you're out there painting, rain is not the best thing. We'll continue that on another day. I put the new cam followers on the pickup reel here. So we're gonna get these things changed out. Be one step closer to putting this pickup reel back together. I got little man out here. Say hi. Hi, Cade. I think this is the first time you guys have met him. This is my son, our first child, only child, besides a foster child, which you guys cannot see. But yeah, he's 7 months old and he's a hoss. Top of his class. So he's out here hanging out with me while I'm working on this thing. Mommy is inside asleep because someone kept her up all night last night, and it wasn't me. Guilty as charged. All right, let's get to work. Okay, so baler's washed off. First coat on the pickup reel. We had washed the lawnmower off while I was at it. Gosh. I'm gonna let the baler drip dry here a little bit before I back it in the barn. Yeah, if I could get out of the screen, that'd make a good thingy-dingy, huh? Oh yeah, right there. That's it right there. Oh yeah. Some priority stuff here. Got the bolt for the tongue. And then of course we got our priority stuff. Got some licorice, some rascals, all the necessities. If I'm not the one that does it, whoever does it will be thanking me. For sure. So I call it Never Duke. One of my buddies that I met in college, that's just what he called it. Caught it, stuck. So here we are. Put some Never Duke on there. Washer, lock washer, nut. All right. Is a 3/4 inch, gray, 7 inches long, grade 5. I think I did right there. And I think that's probably going to be enough. So this is the other side of the main shaft for the pickup reel. Got me a new bearing. Okay. See if we can get this back together. Okay. We have to have enough room to be able to the whole length of the shaft past here and then into here. Okay, here's the shaft. You can go ahead and move this in position, but I recommend first step being to put one of your bearing holders on the shaft right now so you don't forget. Like this. just like that. And these things are not as light as they look. I mean, you can't handle it, but. So this is what I have, okay? I'm not trying to set that in there and line everything up. I'm just setting this up here. I do have that end up a little bit more. We've got the shaft sticking through here. And you can see, you can angle that shaft because that hole, you know, you have clearance on that hole. So, my plan is I'm gonna run that shaft through here and get it through at least the first two, if not all three of them. And then I'll kind of slide this down and get it into position up there. I'll go ahead and put this shaft through that hole down there, and that'll support everything. And that'll let me get my cam followers in the track. Let's check out what we got here. Number one, if you do this, take all the teeth off. What happens is half the teeth are basically engaged in these slots here. I'm going to have to slide the shaft through this way. I'm gonna have to put then I'm gonna put the first bearing carrier, the locking ring, and then the bearing. And the bearing's gonna have to go all the way up the shaft to right in here. You can kind of see the mark where it was. That bearing's gonna have to go all the way up here. And once I get that location set, and then I gotta put the other bearing carrier on the outside there. And once I get everything set there, then I can slide the shaft back where it's at now, and only obviously further. And I'll loosen up take these bolts out, put that carrier on there, and I can do the carrier down there, and then I can set this here where it needs to be. And drive it on. At least. There it goes. Line up the hole. Okay. You can get these bolts out of here. Out of this end. Ta-da! We can lower this. I want to give a little update on the 326. I currently, I missed getting some footage of some things. You know how things go, you get carried away, you lose battery and you don't want to stop. Anyways, this is going to be just a little bit of an update, and then we're going to be continuing on where I've been working. Okay, so you see right here, I've got this piece here put back in, this piece here put back in, which is the adjustable back. I got this little piece right here put back in. I got a little bit of painting done. If you notice here, I missed some here. I actually got rain on while I was painting, so I didn't get to finish that, but I got it. I got this part of the baler done good enough to get this stuff back together. So the second update I want to do is I was able to get all the pickup reel painted, all my yellow pieces painted, all that's done. I just placed a parts order, which included this cam track here, not really cam track, the roller track for the feeder bar, the new aluminum block right here, as well as the piece that the shaft that the bearings go on that goes through there, and some other things. I'm going to be finishing this here up here in the next day or two. What I'm going to do, because I got cut off with my painting, I'm going to get the pickup reel back together, minus the teeth and the bands, because that there all needs to go on after I get it on the baler. And I'm going to wait to put it on the baler to hopefully catch another nice day to finish painting on this baler. Update number 3 is painting. I got some painting done. However, a freak thunderstorm blew up and got me a little wet before I got everything inside the barn on the wagon. You'll see how ugly this looks. I mean, it's still got good coverage, but you can see where every raindrop hit. It was still wet when it started raining. Got some other stuff in there, but that pretty well comes right off with your fingers for the most part. So the good thing is, this is the inside of the cover. This is the inside of the cover. That's the bottom of the twine box. Really the only thing that anybody's gonna see is the lid, and I'm leaving it off. I'm gonna see if I can sand it, and hopefully whenever I get to where I can do some more painting on the baler, if I get a nice day, I'll address that as well. The plunger is out of the baler. We did that last night. The plunger itself is really in pretty good shape. It's got one piece here that's bent a little bit. I'm gonna straighten that out, put a little weld on it. It'll be good as new. Otherwise, everything structurally, you know, there's not excessive wear on the pin. There's no welds that are broke. It's really in good shape. The bad part, pretty well all the rollers have something wrong with them. They're either worn, or they don't spin, or they're loose, or something, or they just sound terrible. You know, some of them, I mean, they're not out, but there's a little bit of play on that one, and it sounds terrible. And when it spins good, it sounds really, really dry. This one here, you can see, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's an excessive amount of wear on that. Yeah, it don't sound too good either. This one here is really, really loose. You can see that. It sounds terrible. This one down here doesn't turn worth a hoot. It's dry. This one here is probably one of the better ones, but it still doesn't turn very good. Go to the other side of the plunger, if I can move it one-handed. Now it's gonna try to fall. Anyways, this bearing here is probably the best bearing on there. This one here is not too bad. This one here is terrible. It won't even turn. That's all I can get it. In the building industry, they have a term they use. It's called scope creep. And that's whenever you have a scope, usually when you're remodeling or something, when you have a scope and you're gonna stick to this scope and you tear stuff apart and you find out, holy cow, this plumbing is terrible. Way worse than we thought it was. Or, oh man, I didn't know that was there. We're gonna have to do this. Well, that's where I'm at right now. Pulled the plunger. I didn't plan on really doing anything to the plunger other than adjusting it. I was gonna check the rollers. That's why I actually took it out. Now I'm gonna replace all the rollers. There's only 2 or 3 that are good. There's 9 total on here, so I'm gonna have to replace 6 of them at least anyways. So I'm gonna replace all of them. Yes, it is a lot of money. However, I do have some aftermarket suppliers that I can get them from, which makes it more reasonable. And I actually already have them because they're all the same part numbers as the 320, which I have not gotten to putting on my plunger. So what I'm gonna do is we're going to remove all these. I'm gonna put all new ones on. I'm gonna save the ones that are in good to decent shape to have as spares just in case something catastrophic happens and I need a baler that day, a bearing that day. I can put it on, get me going, we'll be good.